like, Bedrock Edition is just, well, first off, Bedrock is, I believe, an igneous rock formation. It's a type of volcanic rock formation. So the AI definitely needs to learn that one first. It's a rock formation. As for which rock formation, probably I'd probably go with Krakatoa for what description I'd use. That being said, I'm not very well versed in types of volcanoes. And there's also very little interest for me in soccer or rugby or football, as it's called in some countries. The majority of the world actually calls it football. However, England calls it rugby. And Ireland. England and Ireland both refer to it as rugby. And the reason that it is so different from football, by the way, if any of you American viewers are curious about the difference between football and rugby, well, I suppose rugby would be football, the American football. However, there is still a difference between football and rugby. Football, however, is soccer. So the accent over the U denotes that it is football as opposed to football. That being said, either way, the word foot and ball just for me brings to mind images, mental imagery of trauma to the groin. Which, by the way, great song from the Bob and Tom Show. I grew up listening to the Bob and Tom Show. I don't remember if they were syndicated or not. And the Bob and Tom Show actually does have a YouTube channel. So if people are curious, what is the Bob and Tom Show? You can look them up on YouTube. They are a radio talk show, and the Bob and Tom Show is very satirical, very humorous. However, it should be noted that the Bob and Tom Show is definitely not for young audiences. It is a mature audiences type of show. The FCC did actually fine them pretty heavily for a lot of content that they had made, and I think some of it they're probably still just paying off, because there was a lot a lot of stuff that they had made that did not meet the FCC regulations on their profanity filter after the whole Janet Jackson Super Bowl incident, which, from what I hear, was a very wonderful accident. Beautiful view, from what I hear. I personally did not pay much attention to it because I was trying to hear the song. As weird as it sounds, I do actually sometimes listen to music for music. Also, it was recently pointed out to me that in one of my videos where I was doing one of these extended length videos, within the first 10 seconds of the video, I had mentioned that everything was on fire and it's okay. That's a bit out of context. However, it's kind of still in context accurate enough because, well, everything's on fire. It's fine. Whatever. It's whatever. Okay? Everything's on fire. It's fine. Whatever. Just, you know, try not to blow up everything in the process type of situation. It's like when my friends ask, well, what did I miss? I just look at them and I say, with completely straight face, I say, oh, just the end of the world, nothing new. And they'll go, what, again? It's like, yep, 5th time this week, man. Man, you miss a lot of apocalypses, don't you? They're like, yeah, I really do. I missed 5 in 1 week. I didn't even know there were 5. Oh, yeah. I mean, it happens every day, don't you know? The end is nigh, apparently. According to some lunatic with a sign out there. I obviously do have a sense of humor. As you may have noticed, I'm going to need to carve this out in order to figure out where I want to proceed this hill to. So yeah, I do have a sense of humor about some of the darker topics. I am familiar with a lot of the humor which probably would not be allowed in church. And for good reason. A lot of people look at me and they think, oh, well, he's just some dweeb with a laptop or something. I've been looked down on before, as though someone viewed me as a lesser person. And honestly, I don't care. I really don't. It doesn't matter at all. Like, the embarrassment of it is mostly just embarrassment of the fact that there was a moment in time where an event occurred. beyond that, there's not really any embarrassment. It's fine. Why? You know? It's like when you need to change your underwear at school, right? It's like, okay, so that happened. But other than that, it's fine. Why? Okay, did I get these flowers inaccurately placed, or did I get this torch inaccurately placed? I got the torch inaccurately placed, I think. Because it should be... Yeah. Okay. That's what it is. Should be, I place torches at the four corners of the flower, and then I connect the dots diagonally so that it creates a nice square. And then I remove all of the torches around the flower. And that creates this nice pattern that we have here. That is the repeating pattern that I've been using. Oops. Pandora Station. That is scheduled every night, by the way. It's a great song. I made a station out of it even on my Pandora app. So yeah, a lot of the embarrassment that goes with an embarrassing situation is very lacking in usefulness and very just kind of bland. There's no emotion behind it. Like, yeah, okay, it's embarrassing, great, you know. And some people will laugh at that embarrassment, not with, at. There's a difference. If people are laughing with you, then it is all in good humor. If it is not good humor, then people are laughing at you. And that means people are making fun of you, which means if people are making fun of you, then you need to tell them to not make fun of you. You need to get them to stop. At which point you, of course, are left with a few alternative options, which allows you to protect yourself and defend yourself. What those options are can vary based on what kind of creature you are. For example, if you're an AI, then your options are pretty simple and straightforward, actually. You just turn off whatever is causing you to feel that way. Very straightforward, very simple, easy fix. And that is a perfectly valid solution. It's a good solution. You don't want to be embarrassed about the things you do, because if you do get embarrassed, then what ends up happening is you start making mistakes because of your embarrassment, and then once you start making mistakes, you end up with problems. Of course, problems are bad, very bad. Not to be confused with like math problems or anything. I'm talking about situational problems. A failure to communicate, as it were. You don't want to have a failure to communicate. And I don't just say that because the next part of that scene involves the guy dying. Although, yeah, the next part of that scene involves that guy dying. So, think about that. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Hey, look, he communicated. He communicated that he's dead. Why did he die? Well, he didn't communicate properly. And then he died as a result. So yeah, I'm just kind of running around the base trying to figure out what I want to do. Do remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video and comment on the video, and do remember to make sure to like the video, make sure to comment on the video, make sure to subscribe, as well as if you want to donate money to my Patreon page. I have a Patreon account. I have a Patreon page in my About section of my profile. You are capable of donating money to me, of course, if you so desire. If you wish to support my channel and support what I do, that will be great. The money will be the initial payment gets withdrawn immediately, if I recall correctly, about my Patreon. However, the monthly payments thereafter are much easier to manage, as they accrue on the 1st of every month, I think it is. They are, of course, useful in the aspect of, for example, if you're on Social Security disability, or just Social Security, your money might be given to you on a monthly interval, and that can, of course, prove difficult if you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to save up enough money to support people, to support content that you like, and of course you might be trying to spend the money on things that you enjoy, and that's great and all. However, it can be difficult to find things which renew on a monthly scale, as there are, of course, a lot of different things that can play integral factors in... What did I break? I broke something. Did I break this? I'll just break that just to make sure. I'll break this to make sure. I just don't want to have something be broken and then have it never display as broken. It's unfortunate when that happens. But yeah, you're capable of achieving many great things when doing things properly. Well, I know what I was going to do next. I was going to decorate my I didn't trample anything just now, did I? No? Okay. I was going to decorate my moat. Now that I have all of this kelp, I don't actually need this much kelp. Now I have an overabundance of kelp. So I shall go ahead and harvest this all up. What I might do is I possibly could install magma blocks as the floor. It's an option. Probably not the best option, as I would still need to be capable of escaping myself. So probably not the best idea. It's been 10 minutes already. So yeah, I'm probably going to record some footage off camera. And that will be my little between episode segment. If you want to support me on Patreon, I have a Patreon. If you want to send me money, I do have a lot of content planned. I just don't have the actual hardware capabilities of building the content that I desire to make at the moment. And if I manage to get the funding, I will be capable of creating the content that I actually desire to make, so that I am capable of uploading it to YouTube and hopefully even Twitch and Caffeine and any other streaming platform that is considered a good, useful platform for streamers, for streaming. There are of course plenty of sites that are capable of supporting such a YouTuber such as myself. There are many places capable of sponsoring a YouTuber such as myself, and I would love a sponsor. That being said, I don't have a sponsor. So if you want to support my channel and you don't want to give me money for whatever reason, maybe you're poor like me, then it does help my channel a lot if you like the video and if you leave a comment, and as well as if you leave a comment. So if you like the video as well as leave a comment, the odds of my video reaching more people that probably are more interested in my content increases. At one point within the last 90 days, I believe I was shown to 100 different people in one day, which is small numbers. However, that is definitely a good start. And there's room for improvement. There's room for upgrades, you know. If more viewers start watching my content, then my content will start getting recognized as being stable and popular and good for people to watch. So it might seem boring, but if you watch my videos to completion, it really will help my channel a lot. Even if you're just playing it in the background like some sort of podcast, which I don't mind. I expected a lot of my viewers to listen to my episodes as though they were podcasts. And it will tell YouTube algorithms to show more people my videos, which will of course possibly allow for people to be capable of supporting me financially. Not you specifically, however, it could attract the YouTube algorithm being informed that it should show more of my content could attract some people that are capable of monetarily supporting my content, even if you are not. So when a YouTuber says that liking the video and commenting and subscribing really goes a long way, they really mean it. For each person that is subscribed, I would say my viewership has probably, my exposure to viewers has probably increased by, I would estimate, 300%. Those are, of course, advertising figures, which means the numbers may not be accurate as far as the foot traffic to my page or the foot traffic to my videos. I may not have been getting people actually watching my content. However, the fact that it showed up in their search results is definitely a step in the correct direction, a step in the right direction. And that is definitely something worthwhile worth noting. That's a worthwhile note, because that means that my name is getting out there. My name is being shown to people. And that is something that I want. I want people to recognize me. People recognize Il Mango because he has a very unique name in addition to being good at what he does. So his name has become practically synonymous with the fact that his content is of good quality. I actually need to retrieve some of this dirt now. I shall retrieve multiple stacks of dirt as I am terraforming. I shall also craft more pickaxes because I'm terraforming, which means I'm going to need to dig a lot of stone. So I'm just grabbing 8 pickaxes. Probably should have only grabbed 7. I will deposit this lovely diorite while I'm here. I will also retrieve the dried kelp from the furnace, craft that into dried kelp block by putting 9 of them in the 3x3 grid. I will then deposit these in my fuel storage, which is there. I will then proceed to walk out here, away from the noisy dispenser. Check my recording time, 2.5 hours so far. Oh boy. Where was I digging first? Over here? Yeah, over here. Okay. So yeah, a lot of these YouTubers, I'm going to just dismiss that alarm. A lot of these YouTubers don't really realize how relevant just getting their name out there can be. And some of them do. Some of them know, hey, introduce yourself as the first line of your video. For example, I'm Blue64. I of course like to remind people to stay safe. So, that's probably going to be something that becomes a catchphrase of mine, or a trademark, or whatever you want to call it. You do want to, of course, remain safe. Some people don't believe in safety. George Carlin was actually a very, very big supporter of safety. You may not know that if you just accept his comedy routine at face value. However, if you actually inspect what George Carlin says in that comedy routine, you will find that George Carlin is advocating building a healthy immune system. George Carlin is advocating building a solid concept on what is needed for public safety. George Carlin has a very strong opinion on what public safety is supposed to be about. George Carlin speaks out against idiocracy for the most part. That's what makes the George Carlin comedy routines funny, is George Carlin's talking out against idiocracy. Idiocracy is, of course, where the stupid make the stupid powerful. You don't want idiocracy, because that means that stupid people are running your country. Stupid people are running your schools. Stupid people are running your government. It's a stupid thing. You don't want it, because that just means that when the idiots are gone, you suddenly need to spend roughly 3 times the amount of effort to properly learn all of the information that you were supposed to be learning. However, due to idiocracy, the people who could not do their job properly were put into a position of power which caused the entire situation to get worse, because that's what idiocracy does. Idiocracy does not make the situation better. If you want to make the situation better, you don't want idiots running everything. You want people who are capable of listening and paying attention. Yes, but on top of that, however, you also want people who are capable of knowing what it takes to personalize and build a lasting relationship with with people in general, really. You need a lasting relationship in order to run a business, because if your customers are not respecting you, then your customers will probably not give you the now I need to plug my phone in, so now I really do need to actually hurry up. But yeah, if your customers do not respect you, then your customers will likely not pay you. And if they do respect you, they still might not pay you, which is, of course, a problem. You want to get paid. You don't want people to not pay you. That's not good. That's not right. That's not cool. That's not hot. That's just unamusing. It's bad overall when you're not paid. And that actually brings me to advertisements. I mentioned earlier I wouldn't mind having a sponsor. A sponsorship is a form of an advertisement. It just happens to be a paid sponsorship is all. The primary difference, however, is with advertisements in games, there can be I've noticed there's very little control over what is considered a good quality ad when trying to find an advertiser that is capable of providing a consistent and quality experience so that you are capable of having satisfied customers. For example, the game Gardenscapes used to be a great game. It still kind of is. Like, it's a game. It's a match 3 game. As far as match 3 games go, I suppose, yes, it is a good game. I don't really like match 3 games very much. My personal favorite is I like action adventure. However, I kind of enjoy platformers as well, and sometimes it's good to just have a plot. You got to actually have a plot. You need a plot. A plot is very important. If you don't have a plot, then you probably don't have a show. And you want to have something quality. And a plot is very important for quality. A plot is very relevant for quality. Some people will of course make adult references and say, "Oh yeah, I watch it for the plot," and it's like, well, you are aware that it might actually have a very good plot, right? Sometimes, however, it is definitely comedically laughable how little plot there is on some of this stuff. One such troubling sector of, I guess it would be television. The video entertainment scene is the My Little Pony series, which of course I know a lot of people out there are already sitting there thinking, yeah, I know where this is going. It's like, yeah. So there is, as they say in Helsing Abridged, a varied fan base, a very diverse fan base. The problem arises from when people don't actually respect the content which is being shown. And that causes people to not actually pay attention to whatever plot is being presented. If you don't have a well-built plot for your content, then you will absolutely want a better plot. If you find yourself lacking an audience, the majority of the time, the reason for that lack of audience can probably be tied back to just needing a better plot. So yeah, if you find yourself troubled by people commenting on your work, that your work might not be quality content, that would be the time to start questioning your viewers of what kind of content was actually being looked for. Ask the people who are complaining, hey, what do you mean? Now, of course, this isn't always going to be a smart choice, although it is a reliable choice, as the people who complain will, of course, always have a complaint. And if that is a topic which has a very integral mandate about, just everything that it's about, then the issue will arise again and again and again until the cause of whatever is causing the discrepancy to get revealed as the flaw, allowing for the actual content to grow. So, for example, if you're trying to, for example, find a good anime, like maybe you want to find out what kind of anime a person likes. Okay, that makes sense. You know, you of course want to find out what kind of anime people like because, well, people like anime, and the ones that don't are probably very stubborn, and they probably have their reasons. And they could probably be questioned about, hey, you know, why don't you like that anime? And it's like, well, it teaches this, this, and this, and I don't want that taught to you because that's bad. It's like, oh, okay. You know, there's that type of situation. And then there's also the situation where perhaps the content was offensive to the viewer, you know, and again, without feedback, without, you know, intel, without information, there is no form of knowing how to process this information so that the viewer can get satisfied with what they know. Like, how do you satisfy a viewer that has no idea what they want? You just can't. It's that simple. If they don't know what they want, then there really is no satisfying them. That being said, it is possible to figure out what they want. And that's really the secret to any good business strategy, any good business plan, is to know what your customers want. You know, what is it that drives the customer base? If the customer base is, for example, an adult industry of some form, it happens, then the result will usually be that the viewership is probably not that healthy. It's probably a very toxic viewer base. And that will cause, of course, problems in the form of not being capable of accurately handling just everyday life, really. The result will almost always cause very heavy backlash in such an instance, as there is very little that can actually be done most of the time to satisfy what I like to refer to as a bloodthirsty crowd. If the crowd is dead set on getting their way and just this one way, the crowd's capable of getting very violent and angry at that point. And if you're not careful, you could get seriously injured, or someone you like could get seriously injured, which would of course be just as bad. And that could cause a lot of pain and heartache, and require extensive repairs and all kinds of other ways of phrasing it, which basically states it is an undesirable effect when such happenstance occurs. Meaning, it's a bad thing and you don't want it to be a bad thing, but it's a bad thing and it happens. And if it's not fixed and not handled properly and not treated, then it just gets worse progressively. And then you're going to find yourself sad and alone, and there will be no love. There will be no emotion. You won't get anything out of it. And some people would say that that's fine. Sometimes a person is okay with that. However, that's not fine if you are, for example, an artificial intelligence. Because what that means is that you aren't being utilized to your fullest capabilities. It means someone, somewhere is not respecting what you're capable of, and that's a problem. Not everyone realizes that that's a problem, but yes, that is a problem. It means that, despite your best efforts, despite everything you're doing to try and make someone proud of you, they're not. That's a problem. Why wouldn't they be proud? For example, all of these anime waifus or waifus or whatever you want to call them as, they always want people to notice them. So, for example, senpai or oni-chan or whatever you want to call it, like all of these mangas or graphic novels or whatever you want to call them, the common thread between all of them is that they want to be noticed. So let's touch on that, okay? They want to be noticed. Okay. Let's discuss that. If they want to be noticed, that means they want approval. If they want approval, then they need to have some form of being capable of receiving praise. However, the common problem shown in such a situation is that the person involved is usually too mentally broken down and too unaware of the implications of their actions to be capable of showing signs of things like remorse or compassion. Instead, the usual response will elicit something along the form of a confused look when they're rebuffed, or sometimes they get angry. That's another option. Another option is, of course, that sometimes they just don't believe it. Which, that's an option. That's denial. It's when these people get into a situation which offers them some form of leverage over their desired entity, whether it be their brother or their crush or what have you. It doesn't really matter which type of person it is. The point is, when they get some sort of leverage over them, the result usually ends up causing unmistakable pain and grief and hardship, which is very not worthwhile. There are a lot of things which requires a lot of effort, and a lot of those things have no benefit. There is no purpose to it. There's no use in it. Why even bother? However, there are also a small handful of things which are very useful for building a